Tanke Tuji Shajere Sandro, Jinjamata Duja Panjamba, Serja Lumbo, the Varjibek, Shakji Jabuja Dunga Janzar, Durjan Janjan Delo Naroda, Mabamala Chija Gambo, Bamotraba Javandam. Kajua Lama Namje Da Joje, Danandana Zera Damja Da Lama Labala Juso Dozan. Jinjang Lava and Dinner Dungeon Rebecca, so Dungeon of Lama Jija goes on Doja, Jalanda da Doga Julan, Doga Dimba Danson Jija Don Jajam Bond over Zenja Labdos, Doga Lo Chuson over Zenja Labdos. Chua London Rovers and Jalabdos, Land Trovers, Evers and Jalabdos, Drova Issues and Javars and Jalabdos. Temio Zaradoje Jangrada, Mandishis and Obojatava, Tamjeziba, Kunshin Chije, Yamin Dogon Renshin Zanzalo. Gange Dinjan Devaranjung, Gaba me ba, Jime ba, Jeba me ba, Da me ba, Uma me ba, Dro me. Tade do me, Donje me, Drubani Jajadan ba, Zoba Sanje, Mananje, Tamba de la Janzardu. Trenjin Zava Lama Jiju Guzon, Doja Shanla, Dada, Doge Jalan Bulu, Doge Dimba, Dan Sunjin, Jadon, Jajan Bandra. Sinjala de so Nongka Dang Nyambe Simjin Tamji Dinde Lana Me Ba Yang Da Ba Zubu Sanji Chikompang Rumbo Chu Tobar Cha Di Chu De Dambe Chu Kangi Sinde Tong Nyam Salamar Jo Nyambe Samba Chan Chon Chu Tu Simji Ba Da Chu Nyimbe Kunju Da Kulong Manur Ba Go Ne Simbar Cha De La Gang Simbar Sawe Chu Ne Tamchu Gongba Chikba Dorji Song Jadang Abjudani Chindere.
Teni te Jadang Abjunang la Kapar Yore Tata Sungyembe.
Teni da Ndarwa Sotar Kutsom Ge Da Dorji Song Jubdun Reda Jubdun Insaro.
That's so again, bringing the mind to the welfare and benefit, to the wish for the welfare and benefit of all sentient beings who pervade space, with the intention to achieve unsurpassed, fully perfected awakening. For the benefit of all, to listen to the Dharma teachings with a completely pure motivation is an important aspect when receiving Dharma teaching. So to generate the completely unmistaken motivation while listening to the Dharma teachings is very important. And so we are continuing with these teachings on the Gong Chik, the teachings from Lord Jikten Sumgön, which consist of 150 Vajra statements. And in those 150 Vajra statements, we are in this section which is dealing with the Vinaya, in specific, or in particular, the vows of individual liberation or pratimoksha. And we are on the 17th of those lines, or we had just been through number 17.
Oh yeah, Nanda Dorji Song de Karagati Hindu Huna Mishi Timuk Niba Yin Le Jie Song. Dandi Gaps Yin Sungbala Da Numong Tamji Ganani Zo de Niba Chihu de Chakba Dang Hedang Tsuris. Deni Perna Hedang Tabena Lover de Niewala Jiwala Soba. Ke Jusin Ro Yu Tanda Song Ba Ris Yin Yang Ndi kapsu tene mishipa tumok de hi chegi niba chekyuri songware.
So then this next Vajra statement is not knowing or delusion is heavier than the other faults, or in other words, not knowing what is that is delusion is the much greater fault. Yeah, same thing. And so what is unique about this statement is that according to the views of others, when considering all of the afflictive emotions, and in particular the three poisons, there are many who consider the greatest faults to be attachment or craving and anger. And in particular, anger is often identified as the greatest or the worst of the faults, in that its outcome or its fruition is the excruciating suffering of the lower realms, in particular, the suffering of the hell realms. And so, for that reason, many feel that the greatest fault, or among the different afflictive emotions, that which is the most negative or the greatest fault is anger. But here, actually, Lord Jikten Sumgön asserts that the greatest of the faults, or the most negative of the three poisons, is actually the negativity of ignorance or unawareness.
Nanda marakpanda nipa chev jimsin kanrisina nde ducha tang shedang la sobake tsav nyumongpa drok telen chipe nyeve nyumongpa nyesha te pa ye songayna nyumong jeche yutong seyorwa jeche yutong nde yong zogba de tsawa de marakpa la todo yore so tsawa dawe chi yinpe na pe na hingdong che na di tsawa de dog dongbo dog jinge hingdong che na di tsawa de la ra le de yore di na yinge nyumong pa tamji ke tsawa de marik paris dan de sanje ke taran do duba na kare song yore sina ma papa duba le deni simji tama drain dang chojer chini pas ta simji ramdrain tasum terwa teku marik lejong devar shikpe song sund ta kang taryang roa rektok jewa kang to lama yin yang ta jancho samba tamje sam yin de yindong la peyong na logari matoke rawang mi barang kowa lang koryong Kyobpa ina di tsawane marik pari songre di jimsing ka ta marik banda tene nipa chihyuri song.
So the reason why here we assert that unawareness or ignorance is the greater fault is because it is ignorance that is the root of all the other afflictions. So the root poison of the three poisons, attachment or craving, anger, and ignorance, is ignorance. The further sort of elaboration of the 5 or 6 afflictive emotions, or the 20 or 21 afflictive emotions, and in fact all 84,000 varieties of afflicted mind states. The root of all of these is ignorance. And so since it is like the root of a great tree, a big poisonous tree. So if there is a giant tree with all that is a poisonous tree with lots of branches and foliage, that which is really the fundamental sort of life force of the tree or the cause of it are the roots. So the entire tree sort of exists in dependence upon its roots. And so in that way, likewise, the fundamental cause of all of the pain and suffering of samsara, or wandering in samsara itself, is the root affliction of ignorance or confusion and unawareness. So as it says in the Sanchayagata, all beings, whether inferior, middling, or best, arise out of confusion. This is taught by the Tathagata. And so any being that becomes embodied as a being in any of the 6 realms of cyclic existence, apart from the emanations or the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who appear or manifest with the sole intention of bringing benefit to beings, all beings who are born into any of the 6 realms of samsara with the sort of delusion of self-clinging intact, do so because of or due to the fundamental reason of ignorance. And so for this reason, ignorance is really the greatest fault among all of the afflictions.
다동 산제 그 가르송 요르스는 도는데 두차 세제데 해당당 데몰르트나 니바토 좀 충그리스 이나양 달카포요리스 두차 그 셈텔레 파카 타고나 테스칼레 카보요리스 해당 세제데 니바 쳔보리스 도차르 뜨나 해당라 니바 쳔보리 텐다인자 샨티데와게 시당 타브 틱파미 송도와 주파 타브 카타미 송도와 대외 주라 닌틴지 송 대인자 시당 시브데 디바 쳔보리스 카토냐와람 핀로지 시당 차그요로 이나양 시당 데 코란라 지 용틴지 요르 데 가르스나 잘 라보요르스 시당 데 니바 쳔고 쳔나양 잘 라버리스 다 때목 세제데 니바양 쳔보리 가인스나 니모 제트기 동가 자와리 강다양 코르 자와리와 마치 단진 방고리 송 라마게비히니 남바 따드 송도와 단진 가를 때는 찌그 요래 말을 발 때는 찌앵고 요로와 대인상 코르 자와 니모 말을 발토도와 니바치라 단 라양 까오 송도와 산직 라가비 줌신데 코 마릭바 시바테는 코 마릭 문바 나보한다 탭데바나 이리 다 문바 나한테니 다 랑이 야가란 로고서 두가란 로고 테니 로라서바 우라서바 미나 테니 하고마도 든라 콤파 쳔근 든라 하장 그 양사 침보 단다게 니카 침보제 요나야 하모원데니 데타바 테니 양라 롱도야 그 니카 침보 요로와 대인자 산제 그 송와데 데레스
So likewise, the Buddha said, while desire is a small fault, it is difficult to part with, or it is particularly difficult to overcome. And while anger is a greater fault, it is easier to part with or easier to overcome. So likewise, as Shantideva has said, there is no negativity like anger, and there is no quality like patience. So therefore, it is necessary to to strive or make a consistent effort in the development of patience. And so while anger is extremely powerful, a really great fault, even though it is really powerful, it is easier to overcome it, or one can sort of is more easily, it is easier to part with. But then when it comes to delusion or ignorance, it says delusion is both a great fault and it is also difficult to part with or difficult to overcome. Because as it is the root of all the 84,000 afflictions, or the 84,000 variations of afflictions, it is in fact the root of the entirety of samsara itself. And this is what is taught by all of the great spiritual teachers. When asked, why do we have self-clinging, or what is the cause of self-grasping? It is always, the answer is always ignorance. It is because of ignorance. It is because of delusion. Self-clinging is a product of delusion. And so therefore, it is especially hard or difficult to overcome it. This most very deeply rooted affliction, this causal affliction, is particularly challenging to purify or overcome because of the nature of delusion. And it is also the most dangerous, or it is considered here by Jikten Sumgön to be the greatest fault. It is like wandering in a heavy darkness in which one has no idea what the surroundings are or where one is. So, for instance, if one is wandering in a perilous place where there are deep crevasses or cliffs, in the heavy darkness, one is really vulnerable to falling unknowingly down one of these crevasses. And so without having any idea. And so in that way, not having the ability to see or not knowing is much more dangerous.
Tan deni sanje kusumba tardo jirtang ngaranzo soso ke nyamariri tsoa nana tsamtsang soso lo tsursan no tonde nyamnyong rawa te yongkandowa. Pena yor kanhigla chakpaan rawa ji jiyong na tenis pa soso nangla tsong tsadu te zang jupa jihe mdowa. Tere nga simnang la chakpaa di jisong da ten rigma song samyang rawa tsurnang te zang yongkan mdowa. Tenda jimsing tena chakpaa si ji te ko nga tsuya ji nangchong rawa ji yodi te ko chakpaa chaksam te par traya kable kabo dowa. Te hedang ji yana tere ma jile hedang rawa ji jisong ayana pa nangna labzi de da tere hedang jisong rigma song ro sam je teni soso ke che yigyan rawa dong shakpaan rawa ji tena samsang yong towe yora nga tsu. De del tin ko hedang si ji te ndar la zu ji te soso ngu sin ya le la bon rawa jin dowa. Nga hedang ji song rigma song samyang rawa del tin jen joba shakpaan rawa je ji ya yo jo lamsang ji toba rawa je. Ta temo si ji te gadu jihen do ha ko yo ma re. Sina ni dudia temo tan ro do go yore ni sena ya temo lan ro do go yore. Ta ngarang zo Kyobpa Jikten Sumgön Gombok Sona. The Tsen the Tang Chima Bardo Sum Jik the Top Namjur La Song. Ta Tsen the Tang Jewas Chima the Bardo Sum Jik the Hakong King Namjur Pachayina. Ta Ko Data Benyamni said the Dimbichu Tamji. Ta Mixari Mato Ngaran Sondo Tamar Bayina. Tsen the Tang Chima Bardo Jik the To Tokamanda. To Matabdi Karere. Kyobpa ni seba da nga ke samya samno de korndu teni ko tsende ke nda ke kantan khoar la pakcha de teng sabru yon do wa teni ti ji se te nyama ti ren ke da chuchu chuni da ni hyu bi kantar chuchu chuni da la cha ya na da chadang ke le ka chanyang de len ro yo ro da teni ma ni kondu Tam pardon raw zenari malam turn to benegos. Tam malam nana ta ti chadang to sol tine. Tam chadang jing malam meng. Telatine jing jikta tang donga la so batang. Ta te tabaji yong do yore. Tan da yin zang tam jik zawate timul to do yore marik bal to do yore. Lakbar de nga chun de higor. Sanji ke chupong jet yutong sonya de kare la songri. Sanje dewa zi nima machu ni song dewa rewa. Sanje nima mandro ni song dewa ma rewa. Sanje la tengin zin la sopa ke yung ting japcha mangbo yore. Tengin zi riri kala nyampar yon de karpa sewa mangbo la nyampar yon tabiya de tawa ke nuba yore. Nima mandro yo ke dungha yo ma rewa sanje la.
Gong ta di yang char song ro na?
Sanje tingin zi jik gang la nyambar ya na karpa sewa mangbo la pe jewa mangbo la karpa mangbo la nyambar yo tina yo tuko yorwa te tingin zi la nyambar yo tingin zi zi cik dala rikhe jab bayi na chirtaan de te saha go sa re nga zu nge jin rikhe jang tangpo chi te jo yor
Tangpo de la rewa?
tangpo chi ke te parti chor
Gyor. Okay, that's all. So, as the Buddha taught, for instance, this assertion that desire is a small fault, but it's difficult to overcome or difficult to part with. For instance, we all have experience with this, or surely we can relate, in that if we go out somewhere, if we leave our home, and we give rise to craving or desire in some form or another. And then when we get home, and if we're sort of reflecting on our day or the deeds of our day, it's unlikely that we will think, oh, I gave rise to craving, I gave rise to desire, and then have a sense of like regret. So we don't as easily recognize the fault of desire. And it's for that reason that it is especially difficult to overcome. But on the other hand, if we go out and we become angry at someone, if we become angry and we say some harsh words or something, it is much easier to recognize that as a fault. And so then when we come home, or if we're reflecting upon the activities of our day, then we might easily recognize the fault of that anger and wish to purify it. So we may engage in the recitation of the 100-syllable mantra. We might do prayers of confession and purification. And so it is for that reason that anger, while a greater fault, is said to be easier to purify or to overcome. that is because we are quick to recognize our wrongdoing. We're quick to recognize that anger as a negativity or as a fault. And then ignorance, on the other hand, is we're completely unaware of. So we don't even notice when it is present. We don't recognize those actions which are motivated by ignorance, and we don't recognize when ignorance has arisen. And so for that reason, it is a great fault, and it is also very difficult to overcome or to purify. So also, as Lord Jikten Sumgön says, for a yogi, or either the yogi who has realized this life, the bardo, and the next life to be one, is there's mention of the yogi who recognizes this life, the bardo, and the next life to be the same or to be one. And so such an individual or such a yogi is really an exalted being, a special individual. For us, as we are ordinary beings, we definitely don't have that recognition of this life, the bardo, and the next life as being one or being the same. And our experience is such that we wake up in the morning and immediately that indwelling sense of me and mine is present. It immediately starts functioning. We have such a deeply ingrained habit or karmic imprint of self-grasping. And so based on that self-grasping or that attitude, that mind which identifies with me and mine, then throughout the practically, every day, 24 hours a day, all of our activities are motivated by attachment and aversion. All of our activities are wrapped up or bound in sort of the kind of ongoing arising of attachments and aversions. And even when we go to sleep at night, when we experience the bardo of the dream state, that stream of attachment and aversion just continues. Even the phenomena of our dreams is bound up in attachment and aversion. And so it is in this way that the root is ignorance. The root of all deluded experience is ignorance. And so the Buddha taught the 84,000 categories not just to sort of haphazardly or carelessly, but through deep knowing and qualities experienced through the direct seeing, which he perfected through the different levels of meditative absorption. And the qualities of the meditative absorption or the samadhis of the Buddha are so extraordinary. In fact, even each and every samadhi or type of samadhi, each and every single type or category of the Buddha's meditative absorption or samadhi is one where he would be able to dwell, should he choose, in that samadhi for countless eons, for like trillions of kalpas or eons. And so the word for samadhi, which in Tibetan is Tengye the ting, actually it is referring to the depths. So, and then actually Khenpo stopped here, so he said he will go on, didn't he?
The thing said around Lord York Tola, Berna Gomjan, the Gomtin Tabit Tola Pan, Jopa Della, Ting Laguiri. Jo Patsam Pinky Omari. Tan the correct Jotang de Hakogo, and Jotang the Deni Ta around to Gomja de Lame, Lavundua, Chaja Chimbo, Mingatsun, Lame. Ta Kantar Pa Yangse, tene u sale tene u sarcha yoba tene lucha yoba te tab tingi zon ko tinga la pa tan jopa samri ma to ke tela che tela zimbanda wo tana mi pa tene ti o dunzin zon je te ti yor ti gang ni pa moyo wa zam la zin la ko yori ma to ke pen nga ke sem de meto ndi gang la pa yo du den meto nya bangalan zimba ji yo na 추지 단진 창라고 요래 추지 단진 때 다라 드바니 요라 뇽몽 드바데 히즈 드바니 히즈 드바 차도 요로 탐진 진바 공파도 요라 뎀도 요래 데 인장
So he gongta de meto ming tava tene de yu gare gongta ngala song tene chirang sem meto gangla jotna tene meto na tene
nga sem de meto gangla panjo chadu chuting la tambo te jing de he jo hyora dening zin ji jin che labza we
oh la so yeah gongta chirang sopo sung song yin yang sam la nge nga chi gyoro wa tene yang de sik chimba di to koma tu ba nang sing cha gyoro gongta
ka ka kem
okay. So with regard to this term, which is samadhi or meditative absorption in Tibetan, which is kind of comprised of three words or syllables. The first syllable, which is ting, is actually referring to the placement of the mind. So in meditation, the mind is placed, and sometimes this placement may or may not involve an object. And so the ting, which sort of literally means like also depth, is that the mind is placed. But if there is placement of the mind, that alone is not so beneficial. So there has to be understanding of how to place the mind. And so in meditation, when there is the placement of mind or awareness, then there are also the qualities, for instance, that we refer to in the context of Mahamudra, of luminosity, clarity, or sort of the vivid quality and clarity and expansiveness. So there's also like a pervasive relaxation. And so this is like the ting and then the first syllable and the second syllable together, which is nye. And so then there's the third syllable, which is Zin, and so, or no, I'm sorry, we're not to Zin yet. But in placing the mind and sort of with these other qualities, then there's no fixation. So if there is or no, sorry, because there is the word zimba in there. The third word, which is zimba, is actually referring to the unwavering quality. So it is placing. There's the placement, the clarity, the vivid luminosity or clarity, the spaciousness, and sort of pervasive relaxation, and the quality of unwavering, the unwavering quality.
Tseni ban zin la ya jin do zin hi ba de moyo wa cha zam la njo ko yor moyo wa sem de ti gom ja sa gom tin ti te ne pa moyo wa zam la zin la ko yor is ma to ke
la so lapsarian
zin hi ba de gom ja sa gom tin te ta pa ka tar ma zon wa zam la zin la ko yor is Zin da tenin de lamtong kcha ris lamtong kcha ting sibate hinek charis. Nzi hibande lamtong charis.
So this last word, which actually literally means to hold, or it can also mean to grasp, but what it's referring to is this the unwavering quality of awareness when it is placed in this way. And so the mind in meditation is stable upon the object or the lack thereof. It is stable and unwavering. So the mind does not separate from the object, or the mind is unwavering in nature. So this Dzin part of the word is dealing with the Vipassana aspect, or the insight, experience of insight. And the Tingi is dealing with the calm abiding, or the shamatha aspect.
Dan zin ser du dini penanga meto de galapa nyambar ya ngna meto de gala. Tengen den meto sanen zin soina te chuji danzin ri si danzin le ni yora kanza ga danzin ta chuji danzin. Teni te chuji danzin ri. Chuji danzin te teni sanje ji gompan to ya le dubzi cha de yorwa. Ten zin se ji de den meto san zin yin ke yo marewa.
On the other hand, so for instance, when if Khenpo says, for instance, he places his mind on a flower, the flower in front, as the object of his meditation, if there is grasping, so in the sense that his mind is not simply sort of placed or unwavering, if there is the concept of flower, then there is obscuration present. So then this becomes the sort of apprehension of the selfhood attributed to phenomena. So there's grasping. There are the two types of self-identification, or the grasping of self-identification, sort of attributing selfhood to the individual and attributing selfhood to phenomena. So in that case, then, if there is a sort of this concept of the entityness of the flower as a unique selfhood, then there is the presence of obscuration.
Tangaranz Jula Numon but Timok de Yodu Tening Meshipa Seva de Yore. Meshipa Sevan de Yodu Ta Tata Hyondo Yadering, Meto de Kalapa, Gom Jack Yor Dataron. Gom Jan Meto de Galapa, Nyambaran Jondu. Ta din Nyambaran Josig Sem de Nyamdala. Nyacharang Shubari, Semjong Apching Akjik, Rere Chile Tamje Sama Huyoa. Ta tin nag simjong apjing akjing nana give sem yore me give sem yore. Ta tin nag simjong give simjong kare gangda gangji hendo. Me give simjong gangda gangji hendo ha go yo mare. Ha mo wade timok drip samare. Ta ti dolang around so chi the mix karne tini tapje jin ta lamthong ke hirap ke tapje jin tang simjong karetang sungdin jin kareta nyamda nyampan jogon do tandu ta kasi mege wa pena mare pa ta yamana nyumong yinda sungdin chorna jongyong mai na te pang ta te ha kwars gogoira ta ti ha kwars blo te teni tara ti kapje mishi pa te ke nimbo cha yong za ta mare pa de ti kapso the yong ko yores.
So, as there are the ever present afflictions arising in the mind stream due to the fault of ignorance or not knowing, not seeing, then in this example of, say, meditating, placing the mind on the flower, using this flower as an example of meditation or object in meditation, as one enters into some meditative equipoise, generally speaking, we have the 51 mental types of mental arisings, the 51 categories of mental arisings, and these consist of a combination of virtue and non-virtue. So there are different mental states that arise that are the nature of the wholesome and the unwholesome. Usually, we are not conscious of our mental arisings, and we don't recognize those mental arisings, and we are unable to identify them as wholesome or unwholesome, or the nature of virtue or non-virtue. With this not recognizing is because of delusion, because of ignorance or mental darkness. But if we shine a light on them through the practice of insight, or through establishing meditative equipoise in insight with the experience of insight or vipassana, then those mental arisings become visible. We're able to see them and fully recognize them, identifying correctly whether they are the nature of virtue or non-virtue. And so therefore, in that recognition, or by sustaining awareness, then they are abandoned through identification of what, or recognition. So, and therefore the afflictive emotions are revealed, or become fully seen, or they're fully visible. And so then what was not known before then becomes clearly seen or understood. And so this is the way in which one applies the antidote to ignorance or unawareness. This is the method for overcoming ignorance or unawareness. This is the way in which ignorance is defeated or purified.
Hadi woda tinro timok chebe minba yin song. Nanda draw recto nanke min shute tinro ri song. Nanda tinro lang tonchong ji ne min shu ri song ko yomare korang ke nyumong chan in the read the yoris. Tene chitang da ndala yin tamje ke nyarwa de da min shuris draw recto nank sonza nyarwa de recto nank da tamanda o ji rid da tene Jikten sunggung ke tundro de min shuris song re nyarwa da yedan de so la dongha chap chimbo yoris yin yang koran so la darong de riba zhongbo yoris song re dongha chap chimbo yona yang riba zhongbo yuba la tine dene koran so yang di lander gene ha koya des le labo yoris ta tunro ta wala chan so na ko lander gene jiang ma hin du demo gdop so ayin za demo de ha jan tubo yo za ta juring bo ne go yoris tunru lulin tunru le de la yang je de do da zangi la so ba kan nam ya de ha ma ho tu lander ma hi tu Teni Tundro Layang Jia Joso. Layang Tundro Ter Jia Joso, they were Tanda Janjang in the Jun Bochela, Tundrola, Jiwa Lingua in the Mimba in Son.
So then it goes on to say that since delusion is greater among animals, it is the animal realm that is in fact inferior. Since the animals are greatly deluded, such a birth is inferior. And so this is not to disparage animals, but in general, the thinking or others will claim that of the three lower realms, the hell realms are the worst. But Lord Jikten Sumgön says that actually it is the case that the animal of the three lower realms, the animal realm is really the worst. And that is because even though there's tremendous suffering in the lower realms of hell beings and pretas or hungry ghosts, they have greater intelligence than animals. The hell beings and hungry ghosts have better faculties of mind, or they have greater intelligence, and so therefore they are capable of understanding what is to be practiced and what is to be given up, or what to accept and what to reject, based on virtue and negativity. And so whereas on the other hand, animals, because their pervasive affliction is that of ignorance, or sort of the predominant affliction is ignorance or mental darkness, then they don't understand, they don't have the ability or the intelligence to understand what to adopt and what to discard, or what to practice and what to give up or to avoid. And so therefore, they unknowingly create the causes to remain in the suffering of that realm for a long time. So it is often the case that beings in the animal realms can be stuck there for a very long time, because due to the presence of pervasive mental darkness, they create the causes unknowingly again to be born in the animal realm or in the lower realms, and then continue, due to the persistence of this mental darkness or ignorance, they create unknowingly the causes of suffering again and again. And so it is easy to create the causes to be reborn continuously within that realm of mental darkness due to the presence of ignorance, or strong ignorance or mental darkness.
Tandan Jikten Sumgön ke drazam kongke Gang Tenzin da wa song yaba mayin ba. Sanje ji kala dore. Sanje ke ndo na gare song yore huba ina. Simji nyawar ji ban la yes. Tundu jine su ji ban ne de da mayin no song. Da jirdan nga zo nyawa sit da donga chimbo che donga pansa me ba be da donga na hui yo sa je cha de yore de yin yang per na sanje jomdin de le takpa da ma da be jiwa yi mambu yi wa wa da je ge gap su de kong le je ge wang ge nya
Tambo de sanje ge lung de yang char sumro nang gong ta na dep la ta gi yore yin yang yo samare ni Sanje gi do la
Sanje ge do jimba ni ya ge do re wa jimba ni ya ge do na na simji nyawar ji ba ne la yes da tunro la tu ba na simji nyawa la je ya de nyawa la tar le la ge ri song shi da hi gang le hyun ba re ba zhong ge ri si to mo he chung ge ri tunro je wa ne de tar ma yin no da tunro le je wa lang sun zo ne da de ne tar ya le la wo ma ri song ri kan da
So then, oh, sorry, go ahead. Dine chirang ta dong sum gyuro.
Then that sanje le tapu jiwa nga ja madabu jiwa nga ja lang riwa sanje ke lopa lamji ne kapsu. Then that jek kapsu kong nyawa la ji ne then nyawa simjin jek la ha jang ke ninji tsemi ba ji sa ji yuwa. Then nyawa simjin na te tabu ninji tsemi darong ji tofu yore ya. Tunro tabu la te je na then ta ninji tsemi be ninji de jea ka la kapo chadu yuris. Jirtanda ninje de tunro tamje la yuri, nga chola yuri, de tse mi be ninje sejude, tene kala kaboris.
So the Buddha, or the Lord Jikten Sumgön, didn't just make this claim sort of carelessly or kind of for the heck of it, but it is also supported by the Buddha. For instance, in the Sutra on the Foundations of Mindfulness, he says that it is easier for a being in the hell realms, or it is easier to become liberated from the states of the hell realms due to the ability or faculties of the beings, the intelligence of beings in that realm, whereas, or it is easier to become free from the hell realms than it for hell beings than it is for animals to become free of the inferior states of the lower realms. And this is, again, because of that, because of the lack of intelligence experienced by beings in the animal realm, because the ignorance is thicker or heavier, the obscurations of ignorance. And so whereas also there are the examples of the Buddha, all of the different lifetimes of the Buddha prior to taking birth as the Buddha. There were the 500 pure births and the 500 impure births. And in those 500 lifetimes of impure births, there was the story when the Buddha was born in the hell realms, and through his experience there, he gave rise to extraordinarily powerful compassion for the beings, witnessing the suffering of the beings there. It was through this experience that he generated limitless compassion. So whereas beings in the animal realm have compassion, they're capable of giving rise to compassion. To give rise to limitless compassion is very unlikely or very difficult. So, all beings possess the capacity for some degree of compassion. Animals have it. We have it, but to have really immeasurable compassion is something different entirely.
Yewa mi putone da ninji je toku yorete jirtang da nga su je tunro sejote la je ninji je ad nyawa la tuna he chungwa ro je yongku yorete dan din sungba na yin ke de je na ngaran su ninji je na tunro la je le lawa ro je yorwa ngaran sungu ni tsang da na tunro ngu sun tongko yore du su donga de ngu sun ngaran su 통거 요래 산지 추는 그 해를 해다 세는 된다자 많이 방아랑 소라 반단도 무슨 요래 돈로 무슨 가랑 좀 밀람다 요래 더 탐제 동아 무슨 용코 요바 하고 요자 단도 소라 닌제 럭버드 제거 요레스 대 닌제 쟁긴 탐제를 지세랑 공고 요레스
And so actually in reflecting upon the particularly great suffering of the beings of the animal realm, then we can develop great compassion for animals or for the beings who experience the suffering of the animal realm. And in general, as we work to develop immeasurable compassion, then our compassion should be directed toward the suffering of all beings of the three realms, the six classes of beings in samsara and the three realms in general. But it is perhaps it's a little bit easier to have compassion for for animals, for the beings of the animal realm, because we actually interact with them. We can actually see their suffering firsthand. We can know about the immense suffering of the hell realms, but because we are not witnessing it directly, then it might feel a little bit more distant or removed. But when it comes to animals, we have direct experience. We actually witness their suffering firsthand. So we know the suffering of the animals. We can actually have direct experience of that. And so through that witnessing, then it's really an opportunity to develop immense compassion, to give rise to great compassion. And for those who have great compassion, it is really something worthy of rejoicing.
Oh yeah, that the dorji song ni shepan de ke kare ting dosina nyamle mathup ni pa chebar yi song. Nandela ying yitzer ngaran zoga samko yor yinga dra gongre. Domba lang de kanza je ke ni pa sena ni pa de chap chimbo yoris. Domba mathup je ke ta ni pa sak ba ina de ni pa te cham yo mari samyang ro ti samchon ro dra yong go yor. Dan dal tine tini domba hyo mamnyong ba tamje ke tini ta mangpo chi chesu ji yung ko yoro ngak te chi chogri si tini ko ramang do ji ne tini mangpo chi mege ba mangpo chi drop yung ko yoro dan Jikten Sumgön ke chorang ke domba lang ne tini te domba nyam songa tang tra parche dikpa mege ba sakpa tang chu domba tin mata ba ni ba chigri song.
So then the 20th Vajra statement is if it is a greater fault not to obtain the vows than to obtain them and damage them. And so, or it is taught that the fault of not obtaining the vow is greater than the fault of an impaired vow. And so, actually, sort of the natural inclination, or often one will naturally assume, like when we may make the assumption that if one takes a vow, if we take a vow and then that vow is impaired, it is like a really serious negativity. And somehow, if we haven't taken the vow and we do the same negative deed, or we engage in the same action, but we don't have the presence of the vows, we haven't taken the vows, that somehow it is not as serious, it is not as bad because we haven't taken the vows. But actually, Lord Jikten Sumgön says it is actually the case that it is better, it is less severe of a negativity to take the vows and then break them, that it is actually a greater negativity to never have taken the vows at all. And so really, so often the attitude is quite different. For instance, if one hasn't taken the vows, then one thinks, oh, I'm allowed to do this and that. I don't have the vows. I'm allowed to do this. I have freedom because I haven't taken the vows. So it's not a negativity for me to do what would be considered an infringement or transgression of the vow were I a holder of them. But Lord Jikten Sumgön's assertion here is that is not the case. So again, the assertion is that it's better to take vows and then to transgress them, or than to have never taken the vows at all.
Lawa Duzo Che Yomba in a Chetan Koranzo Tundo Simjin Jerite Tundo Yin the Mandawa Koranzo Langawam Tang Latz Yoris Koranzo So Che Simbarite Taron Koranzo Langawam Ta Latz Yuzang Then Teletine Talangawam Ta Latz to Mila Dogro Mila Then Deket Simji Mambola Pintok Yoris Te Tab Sutram Dimba Ganzaji Ngun Sutram Manya Bungondo Korang Song de Sutram Deke Korang Dang Tini Yin Simji Mambola Pintok Yori Ngun Sutram Song de Pinok Tenda Song do.
So the example that is given is that among all of the sort of various types of animals, there are the animals of the elephant and the musk deer. And if an elephant or a musk deer dies, then they become, they all that is left is their corpse. But they're, as together with their corpse, are the very valuable attributes of bile and musk, which can bring benefit to sentient beings. And so in the same way, one who upholds the pure vows of ethical discipline, even if one of those vows has become impaired, or even through impairment of a vow, through all of the time or the period of time during which the vows or the ethical discipline has been maintained or practiced, has become a cause for immeasurable benefit and well-being directed towards sentient beings.
Tiana Yinke Main Song Atanachike Tene Nimo Yinla Jep Sobjon Lang Teche Tene Simo Yang Main Song Lega Ledu Tene Morank Teletine Nimo Ketela Tene Deva Puson Sobala Longju Chopatan Simo Teletine Morampe Donga Mambo Nyong Satana Loju Yorwa Tene Diana Yingata Tara Lobon Yinik Sumbateri Mishi Digba Jeba Shindo Jia Kebe Digba Jeba Yangwan Jor Jia Jikong Chongyang Dingdon Rose Teni Nuzi Chiang Kalan Cho Song Teta Jia Gide Jia Riri Dodo Jina Ko Chungchong Marsima Sachia and Machon and Luna Ko Macho Yalama Dinoris. They pa leb Jena Palem Roji Jena Trap Jena Ko Pata Salaja the Chimborji Chasmarite, they chun and Yona Chokalaya Dayungaris. That data bit so on the Drukoyori, that the Anchula, then Doa Sotar de Hyosimbaris, then the Ota Shroda 장축 심벌라바 솜대 휴야레
So, for instance, there's the story of the woman who practiced in the morning, practiced the upholding the 8 sojong vows, and then in the evening, engaged in all sorts of activities that created causes or that are the nature of the causes for rebirth in the lower realms. And then consequentially, each one sort of develops the corresponding cause. So while there is great suffering, or the loju di yapo shira ko masong tini di yin la di sojong di shoke la sung yore tini ngin songi la ka simoka la ru yorewa tini gare di chewa jima la di shoke dewa dang simo dugna nyong yore di sung yimbe
de zam de
tinda rebe. Oh, okay. So then in future in a future rebirth, the result was that her phenomena that appeared to her during the day was really fortuitous and the nature of well-being and great happiness. So there was all of this pleasant, favorable experience that ripened as the result of her practice of virtue and upholding those 8 sojong vows during the day. But then at night, she was racked with suffering and terrifying experiences that were the product or the result of her negative activities during the night. And so also likewise, as Vasubandhu says, to engage in negativity unknowingly is very heavy. Negativity done or engaged in by someone who is informed or a wise person is much lighter. It's like an iron ball that sinks deeper, even though it is smaller. If it is made into a container, it floats on the surface of the water, even though it is larger. And so if there is a small ball of iron, it will just sink to the depths. Whereas the lighter, if it is sort of hammered into a larger but lighter container, then it will easily float on the surface of the water. And so this is the example that is given. So now we get to the end of this section on the pratimoksha vows, or the vows of individual liberation. And then in the afternoon, we will begin this section that deals with the bodhisattva vows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, everybody. Oh, sunam de tamje zeba nye dowa nye ba dana baze jega na ja balan ro ba ye zeba zolan ro wa jo chanchu sunjo rumbo je ma je ba nam je jiba nyam ba mi ba yang gon don be wa jo. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Thank you very much.